Start recording. Okay, so welcome back to another session of the Serrated Empire. Been looking forward to this one. We're going to see how best laid plans work out. Last session, you began just leaving New Quivershank, each of yours homes, saying goodbye to beloved family members or annoying family members, and also saying goodbye to Henry Mush, your brief companion and very strange, quite uncomfortable creature to be around, but as a parting gift. Herbert Kume and Pickbum handed over little bags which seemed to contain a load of spores with the consistency of sand. Some of which have been used, but not all of them. So many of you still have that little bag. But you headed off, just the three of you. Little Willy Slug Nilly, the 13-year-old with magical powers. Tiberius Quivershank, the supposed heir to Lord Ernst Quivershank.
That's me.
That's you. And Lorcor Olibim, the hulking, powerful lizardfolk warrior. You head off at the behest of Pushkin, who is desperate for any help that you can find for New Quivershank. He had some ideas, some leads, and you decided to pursue one of them, which was you heading towards the Ruined Tower. The Ruined Tower is a place to the west and a little bit south of New Quivershank, surrounded by 4 large still pools of water. Currently occupied and known to you all to be occupied by the exiled Sari, people that have been kicked out of the closely tied Sari culture that values family and community, many traditional ways of living and being at one with nature. Though many of you have a lot of negative impressions of the Sari due to their dominion and repression of your growth in New Quivershank. The exiled Sari are another idea altogether in that they are known to hunt people, to hunt animals, to be opportunistic and murderous when it suits them. To illustrate this best, you were ambushed by a few of the exiled Sari who tried to throw nets over you, trap you, and drag you off. You managed to mostly dodge harm, though poor Slug took a few cuts and bruises before Lorcor proceeded to rip the exiled Sari limb from limb, as Lorcor liked to do. You slept beneath the stars. Tiberius spotting the wildlife in the canopy, these large hunting cats, and even managed to salvage a few of their discarded spoils for your own eating pleasure. However, you then came across a grove full of glowing seeds, and some of you picked your brains and realized that these seeds are treasured by hunters in the jungles of the Serrated Isles, as great sources of nourishment and even small elements of magical healing. And so you went about gathering these seeds alongside 3 monkeys. The monkeys tried their best to scamper around and grab some seeds, but between an ingenious use of his ghost sound cantrip to scare the monkeys away from Tiberius, actual brutal murder of the monkeys by Lorcor Olibim, and an incredible rate of seed gathering by the young Slug, meant that you managed to see off the swarm of monkeys that tried to throw you off, and your pockets are full of those lovely glowing seeds. You then continued south and west, and through a little bit of scouting and looking around, you managed to ascertain that there was a group of exiled Sari camped in a clearing to the south and a little bit east for you, away from the ruined tower. You decided this would be a good place to go, see if you can gain an advantage or figure something out there, perhaps take retribution on the Sari, the exiled Sari who ambushed you before. And upon arrival, you managed to see the site that we see before us on the map now. a large clearing, a group of thick vegetation in the middle, trees and such, with a number of different cages. One containing a large stalking back and forth panther, black panther. Another containing a number of the monkeys that you saw before, all leaping around angrily inside. And the last containing 2 shadowy humanoid figures. You also noticed that there were, with some very good scouting by Tiberius, there were 5 exiled Sari, 2 of them in a large tent at the moment, next to a campfire. You devised a grand scheme, which involves Lawcore ready to pounce on the edge of some of the tree line, Slug a little bit further back, ready with his potential magics to throw around, and then Tiberius, the crux of the scheme really, utilizing his spell Unseen Servant to open the cage containing the panther. Am I right in having that, Kieran?
Yeah, 100%.
Hundo percento. Fantastic. Well then, I must ask that all my lovely players roll initiative, but you will be using stealth for this initiative, please. On your character sheet, you can actually change what you roll for initiative. If you go to where you click to roll initiative, it'll let you have a little drop-down menu on the right. And if you could click stealth for me, please, which is the second one down. Click your token and roll stealth for initiative, please. Some good rolls so far. Wonderful. Descending. Oh, and let's put the round counter up at the top. Fantastic. There are lots of initiatives in there. Some of them won't be relevant unless certain things happen. For example, the swarm of monkeys rolled very well on their initiative, but they can't do anything while they're in their cage. So, we will begin. Tiberius had already sent out. Essentially, this encounter is beginning with the Unseen Servant opening the cage. Is there anything anyone wants to do in the meantime? For example, Slug, you are quick to act. You're able to see that Tiberius is... Well, actually, you can't see the Unseen Servant, but you know the plan is going off. Are you waiting to see what happens with the Panther, or are you wanting to get a jump on these exiled Sari? I'm happy for people to say what you guys discussed before as well, if you think your characters would have said, wait for a certain signal or anything like that.
Tiberius would have just said, if you see the panther move, that's probably time to go. But he wouldn't be given any orders. They're their own people. They can do what they feel like.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna not go over there. That's scary.
Very cool. We'll say for now, because this is quite nice for Pathfinder, is you can just delay your turn. That'll allow you to come back in at any point in the initiative order if you like, or just wait until it comes back round to you again. So you don't lose anything by delaying your turn.
Oh, that's cool. Well, yeah, let's do that.
Excellent. Right. With the Unseen Servant having effectively and methodically unwound the fairly loose ropes on the cage of the panther, the door starts to swing open and the panther does emerge. It is going to, first of all, step out or stride out of its cage. 5,
Yeah, go on, big boy.
20, 30. So it steps out tentatively at first. It's not rushing forward. It gets to here. It can see there is one of the Sari there. It does look hungry and it does look angry. Let's see. Just need to roll quickly. Okay. So the panther sniffs the air, Tiberius, and there's perhaps a moment where you clench your butt cheeks. It sniffs and raises its head, looks around, scans the tree line, doesn't see you, doesn't seem to see you, and its eyes lock on the exiled Sari there. So, with that, I am gonna chuck us into some battle music. turn down the ambience so it doesn't mess with our heads. Right. The panther itself is going to use its pounce action. It gets to stride and then strike. Ooh, that's assuming it can get to the Sari. Oh no, it can't. So it's going to have to do another stride and then pounce. So at the end of its full move to get here, in its feline grace, it goes leaping forward and strikes out at the Sari. Oh, panthers are fucking nasty. It's going to try and bite down at it. It's got a plus 10. Let me come off the GM roll. Plus 10 to this. Ooh, only a 14. That actually misses. It jumps forward, and at the last moment, the Sari actually brings up its spear and locks the spear into the mouth of the panther. Tiberius, you see this happening? It is your turn.
Okay. He's gonna stride. Wants to get away from the panther. He's done his job. He's still trying to be sneaky.
That is absolutely fine. You're in the tree line.
Do one stride there.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna do another stride there. Hang on. I can't make that. I'm just gonna stride over there.
Roger that.
Essentially, he thinks these people are going to get drawn away from the cage, so then they can sneak round.
Very nice. Lorcor, you are quicker to act than any of these Sari.
Nice. I mean, I think he's just gonna run out.
Yep.
Vroom.
A
That's
beast
two-
on one
two
side
strides.
and a beast on the other side. Yep.
So that's 2 strides. I'm gonna use my my sudden charge thing to make
Oh,
a
hell yeah.
free attack.
Very cool.
Oh yeah, hang on, I got a rage first.
Mm-hmm.
That's an action, right?
It is an action, yep.
Okay, do that first, then do the thing, and then.
You have 4
Bam.
temporary HP.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and if people wanted to browse at any point, I bought and added another set of token markers for us. So if you click where you usually click to go get token markers, you'll see there's tons more.
Damn, they look.
Little potion symbols,
They're so fucking cool.
Yes.
snails and
Wait, what?
things. There's loads. It only costs a
Alright.
$5, and we can use them, or I can use them in my game. I don't know if it will work sharing with you guys, but
Well,
Yeah.
Where am I looking? What are they?
so you know when we normally go to put on like a little
Status
the
effect.
the unconscious or concentrating thing or what have you.
Oh yeah.
There's loads of them now,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
and it's really nice for Pathfinder as well because it has
Oh,
the
wow.
like slowed 1, slowed 2, slowed 3 kind of thing.
Very
Nice.
cool.
Thought that'd be
you,
really
Tom.
useful. That's all right. My pleasure. 18 holy fuck. 18 definitely hits. 16 piercing damage.
Oh shit, we're gonna kill these guys too quickly and be left with a jaguar.
Lorcor, how do you kill this guy?
Like he just sees him in the tree line. He's like, "I'm not waiting anymore." He just runs over there and just bites him in the neck.
Oh my god, that was exactly the damage to one-shot this fucker. Fucking dead, so amazing. Right, and he was about to go next. Take him off the turn order. And Slug, if you want to come back in at any point with your turn, feel free. But it's up to you. You can wait for the round to go round. This Sari, holy fuck. Oh my god. So it just sees this gigantic fucking dinosaur man just run out of the fucking tree line, rip his friend's head off. These guys are beast fighters and trappers though, so they're not gonna completely quail. He's gonna move to a distance where he can throw effectively. Then he is going to throw a spear. So it is a +7 to this, I believe. Just double check.
That'd be so scary to have a jaguar roar over there, and then you just turn around.
Yeah. Seriously. So yeah, a +7 to whatever I roll. Only a 10. The spear goes clattering wide. With that, he is definitely going to move back this way towards the tent, and he is calling out in Sari towards the people inside. From inside the tent. Oh, and again, Slug, if you want to come in at any point.
I will just move in a bit, I think.
Excellent. So let's move your initiative up to the top. Feel free to move yourself.
What are these guys doing?
Which guys? The guys here?
Yeah, these guys.
They're two people that you can see better now locked in a cage. One looks like another Sari person, though perhaps more noble of bearing than the others that you've seen so far and been attacked by. Sitting, it looks very malnourished. Sari tattoos cover his torso and head. His his head is kept completely like razor clean of hair. And then further in towards the back, you see another shadowy figure. Looks like Natalie, if you'd like to describe your character for us, please.
You'd see a very thin, wrinkled elven woman with kind of sallow skin. You probably wouldn't be able to see from this distance, but she looks like her pupils are like sort of glazed over. And she's pretty much in rags. She's got like grey hair that comes down to her shoulder length, and her eye, she's got very sort of like sunken eyelids as well.
No Sari toes though.
Nope.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
Well,
Anything else, Slug?
I'm just gonna wait up here.
Very nice. From inside the pavilion tent, a figure emerges. 25 feet. It's here. This guy looks much like the other Sari, a little taller, a little broader, and you'd notice in particular carries no spears. Instead, his hands are wrapped in what look like thick cords or bands of leather, and his fists are the fists of a brawler. One action to get to here. One action to get here. And he's going to try and intimidate you, Lorcor.
Okay.
Points towards you with these big, meaty fists and says something in Sari, which means he'll have a very poor chance of succeeding on this because you don't actually understand what he's saying. But it is what he would do.
I like you.
I like you very much. So, he would normally have a +3 to this, but because it's got a -4, no language. Ooh, it is still a 17. What is your will save? You don't roll anything.
It's an E6, whatever that means.
6, so that's 10 + 6 is 16. He rolled a 17, so he's actually successful.
Ooh.
Unless rage, does rage say anything about making you immune to mental effects or anything like that?
Think so.
Don't remember seeing that, but worth checking. Rage. Temporary hit points, last for 1 minute. Can't borrow terror while you're raging. Can't use actions with a concentrate. No, so you are actually frightened 1. This guy, just by his sheer presence, Perhaps it's less of a frightened and more of a kind of notice and respect. But you do gain the frightened condition. Frightened 1. Here's where I start to learn my little tokens. Is that frightened? That's stupefied. I'll find it in a sec.
Frightened is 2 down from the blue token on
Oh.
mine.
Oh yeah, there we go. Frightened. Thank you very much. That is his turn. And then we've got the one fighting the panther is going to have to just try and attack the panther. The spear, +7 to this, does hit. It's 2 to this. 4. Yeah, it's going to take a lot more than that to kill a fucking panther. He is going to. He's not just going to attack again. Yeah, he's gonna fucking back up. Stride. Regroup. Stride. Cool. We go into round 2. Monkeys are still in their cage. There is a final exiled Sari warrior just in here. 25. 5. And he's going to try and throw a spear at you, Lorcor. Is a bit of a range now. So there will be a -2 to this roll. So only a +5. All rolled well though. 22.
Definitely hits.
Just 5. Oh wait, no. Throne does add strength. So 7 piercing damage. Because it's thrown at you. That is his full turn though. Panther. Stride. And it's going to pounce. Let's see if this guy can get lucky again. It's leaping to try and clamp down on him with his jaws. He definitely doesn't get lucky. That's a crit. So we will double. Oh my god. Plus this, +3, then doubled. Oh, the 10 rolled past. So 5, doubled is 10 damage. And with its last action, it will automatically grab the Sari. It's got its jaws clamped down into his arm. Fantastic. Tiberius, your turn.
Okay. At this point, he's going to stride out.
Bursting from the tree line.
And he's going to beat him up there. Stride again. And then he's going to use his inspiring courage.
Hell yeah.
He's like, let's not regret our decisions, everyone. This wasn't the smartest idea, but oh well. And everyone gets +1
Hell yeah.
to their stat, attack rolls, damage rolls, and saves.
Such a good ability.
Nice.
Thank you very much. I'm gonna do this little token grabbed. Anything else, Tiberius?
But other is that thing.
Oh, amazing. Thank you. Lorcor.
Local. Doesn't like this guy.
Yeah.
So. Oh, 2 strides still.
We gave us for that.
Well, I still get my free hit anyway, so it's essentially 1.
Yeah.
Right, run over there. Yeah.
If he goes out of a sphere, is it? Hang on. With this spell, or whatever it was, is it everyone in the sphere at the time and they keep it? Or...
I believe so. Yeah,
Okay.
it's not like a constant
Yeah.
bubble. I think it's you cast it on whoever's there, and then I know each turn you can sustain it. I believe. Oh no, that's you take a feat to do that. So yeah, this is just a one-off. But
For 1 turn.
I think so. Yeah, 'cause it says
Okay.
duration 1 round.
Oh right, yeah. Oh yeah.
So my free sudden charge attack. I'm gonna bite a guy.
Very cool. An 18 definitely hits. 9 damage.
What do I do with the front?
Well, it'd be 10. It'd be 10.
It would be 10. The frightened would decrease your attack by 1, but the inspire courage would give you that 1 back, so you're fine.
Cool.
Yeah, frightened doesn't affect your damage. So yeah, it's 10.
Nice.
Chomping down.
And then he's gonna do a whip. Which
Yeah. So you can hit him with your tail. It won't
It's
trip
got
him.
this-
That's an extra action.
yeah, but it's got the sweep shade, so do that as well.
Oh, so sweep is when. Oh god, I need to look
You
it up.
hit multiple people at once,
Oh, okay.
I think.
Let me have a quick look. Sweepity sweepity sweep. We're all still learning. Sweep. This weapon makes wide sweeping or spinning attacks, making it easier to attack multiple enemies. When you attack with this weapon, you gain a +1 bonus to your attack roll if you already attempted to attack a different target this turn using this weapon. Okay. So that would be... Yeah, so if you'd hit with your tail on the first guy, you'd make it easier to hit the second guy with your tail as well.
No, let's just bite him.
Yeah.
No. I forgot to. It's the second thing, so minus whatever that is.
Okay, so -5 put you at 12, which does
13.
not. Well, he's still got frightened, so it would be
Oh yeah.
12.
Yeah.
After this turn, the frightened goes. Beep. But that does not hit. But still, 10 fucking damage.
That's it.
So, this guy, they're gonna get into formation, I think. They're used to hunting things. So he's gonna flank you, Lorcor. So you are flat-footed to his attacks. Attack you with his spear. +7 to this. That is a 22. Not enough for a crit against you. Even with your reduced AC, so it's just a D6 +2. 5 damage to you.
Cool.
And then for his last action, he's going to try and attack again. So you are in a disadvantageous position. Spear stab, but no, that's definitely a miss. Slug.
Well.
Well.
Did I have a plan? I might have had a plan.
Plan.
Hmm. Some thinking here. Let's move in a bit, or maybe not. Oh man.
There's a number of bad guys surrounding Lorcor.
Yeah, a bit.
Some people in a cage.
Oh, I don't care about people in a cage. They'll be alright. They're in a cage.
They are in a cage.
Right, where's my sheet gone? Okay, here we go. So, how far is that? Let's stride over here
Very nice.
and oops, there's 2 actions. Yeah, and then I would like to do Forbidding Ward. Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
what does that do?
Uh,
Click that button. It'll come up in the chat for me.
oh, let's do that.
Bidding ward. Ward an ally against the attacks on. Oh, cool.
Yeah. So we'll put it on Lawcore against. This guy looks kind of scary, I reckon.
Yeah, he's the big nasty guy.
So against his attacks, please.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
It lasts for a minute.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to be sustained, you know.
That's a cantrip. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Put a little magical shield symbol on Lorcore. Saw a good one a second ago. There it is. Pew! Very nice. +1 to the AC. Fantastic. The punchy guy. You're bitten down on him. You see a familiar sight, Lorcore, as his muscles tense, and he is gonna rage. And try and punch you. Gains his temporary HP. Rage. So he is gonna go for fist attack. Probably 2 fist attacks. First one, an 18 to hit you.
Oh, it hits.
Oh, it hits. Only a D4. It is just his fist. And then he is raging. So he does a total of 6 damage with that first strike.
Damn.
And he'll try a second strike. The fist is agile, so there's a +4 to this. 12 definitely doesn't hit, even with the flanking. Very nice. That's his full turn. Masari fighting the panther is grabbed. Oh my god. He's gonna try and escape. See how this goes for him. Escape is an action. I believe he makes an unarmed or athletics. Attempt to check. You can attempt an acrobatics or athletics instead. Do these guys have good? They have some athletics. So, yeah. Actually, no, better to do the unarmed. So he's got a +6 to this. He desperately tries to push against the panther. A 21 will do it. Attempt to check against the DC, typically the athletics DC of the creature. Leopard's athletics DC 17. So yes, he does do it. He manages to break the grapple on him. He's no longer flat-footed. And he is going to take 2 strides. Fucking run away. 25, 50. That is his turn.
Perfect.
Monkeys.
Am I bound? And
Sorry,
therefore-
no, you are not. I didn't have you on the initiative because
No,
your
it's
cage hadn't
fine.
been opened. But please, if at any point you want to jump in, you can jump in whenever you like.
I would like to jump in now.
Please, go right ahead. I'll just put you right on the turn order at the top.
My character from a kneel position will just stand up, and so that's probably one action. And then just looking at what stuff I've got. What does this do? I'm gonna cast rain. Like through the cage.
Yeah. Easily enough space between the sticks.
I'm gonna cast Acid Splash.
Oh. Oh, fuck. This is kind of perfect for their situation. 23 absolutely hits. Doesn't quite crit. Interestingly, you were in the Inspire Courage range. But is an ally?
I mean, she's picking our side.
Yeah. So that would actually be a crit. If you want to press the critical damage, roll critical damage button.
Oh!
Who was this at?
This one.
Very nice. So 8 immediate damage to him. I know splash damage happens as well, so that's 9. Sizzling away. 1 splash acid damage. And it's a critical success, so he takes 1 persistent acid damage. He is burning each turn, and that will give us a nice opportunity to do the persistent damage stuff.
Yeah, I imagine she just stands up and sort of just traces like her finger in the air quite slowly, and then like behind him, almost like a wound in the air, like opens up, but it's literally just like a line of acid that appears in the air behind him, and then just splashes all over his back at once.
That's fucking awesome. And yeah, you see him arch his back and hear the sound of flesh sizzling and crackling from the horrific effect of the acid. Very nice. Right, it is this one's turn. This one... Lawcore is compromised, but there are spellcasters. He's going to move through his ally space, which is difficult terrain, so it'll be 15 to get here. 25. Yeah, it's going to move up to you, Slug. Going for the Slug.
What?
Attack with a spear. That is an 18 to hit you.
Ouch.
Or this plus 2. Only 3 damage to you, Slug. The Panther. I'm so fucked. Panther goes to here, and then takes the pounce action. Jaws attack, plus 10 to this. It's for 26, which is another crit. This plus 3 doubled. 22 damage to this guy. Yeah, he's fucking dead. And you see the Panther bear this guy to the ground. As he's running, the Panther leaps on his back and clamps its jaws, the huge canine fangs sinking deep. And as he hits the ground, the Panther rears its powerful neck muscles back and tears the back of the neck of this ex-Sari out and stands triumphant atop it. It actually has another action. It will... Can it get here? Yeah. It's going to do another pounce action. Leaping onto the next one. Plus 10. 20 to hit. Oh, that'd be minus 5 though, so 15 does still hit. Because it is actually flanking with Lawcore. D10. 12 damage. All my days. That's all the temporary HP gone. Fucking hell. Yep, this Panther is nasty. Tiberius.
Tiberius, like, get over, Lawcore! And he's gonna pull out his loot, and he's gonna pluck a few strings, and these knives go flying out. He's doing a magic missile.
Oh,
First
awesome.
magic missile's gonna go at this guy here.
Very cool. Roll the damage. Just hits. 3 damage. Still up.
Do another one at Inman.
Yep. Oh, it's exactly enough. Twin knives thunk, thunk, into the Sari. The acid boils away at his back, and he slumps to the ground. Defeated.
And with the last one, he'll be like, "Watch out, Willy!" and send one at the guy next to Willy.
Perfect. 2 damage to this guy. Slices into his side. Very nice. Lawcore, Ollie, Bim.
Lawcore does acknowledge Tiberius, but he's going to bite this guy first.
Yep. Jaws attack. Guy's flanked. Oh, and he's raging, so he actually has -1 to his AC as well. Jesus Christ. He's got such a shit AC. Which means that does hit.
Oh, really shit.
9 damage! Oh, you guys are fucking nailing this like an execution force. Every kill you've done has been exactly the amount of damage. Yeah, the jaws clamp down, Lorcor. All this guy's muscle and stance and arrogance just disappears as this panther lays into his back and you bite into his front and he goes down just bitten to death by you both.
In sync.
Yep.
And then he's gonna do this one next to Willy.
Yep.
And I'm gonna bite him as well.
Very nice.
Oh, I forgot to press the thing again.
That's fine. That's at a -5. Still definitely hits. Very nice. And actually, your flanking does that crit? Not quite. No. But fucking hell, 14 damage. Oh my god! You guys will be able to see this on the fucking recording. That's the exact amount again. As Lorcor's jaws clamp down and tear another victim asunder. Covered in blood now, Lorcor, and probably Willy, you are sprayed with an arterial burst as the guy's body is brutally mauled. Right, then I'll just take all these guys off the old initiative order.
Lorco gives you a satisfied grin, Willy.
Which is like a fucking crocodilian grin with blood-soaked fangs. Slug, your turn.
I'm not sure about all this.
The 13-year-old boy looks at the bodies of the mutilated Sari around him.
Yeah, that's tonight.
Yeah, it's up to you. All the Sari have hit the deck. There is this panther. It looks angry. It looks bloodthirsty. Whether it's going to attack you or not, you don't yet know. You could do a sense motive check if you like, or a recall knowledge check to see what you know about panthers. It's up to you.
Maybe I could climb on top of this cage.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome. Cage would be only about 10 feet tall. Let's have a quick look at climbing. I think you do an athletics check. Climb. You move up, down, or across an incline. Attempts an athletics check. You're flat-footed unless you have a climb speed whilst you're climbing. 5. Okay, so if you get a success or a crit success, you're going to make it up to the top of this. And I'm setting the DC pretty low because it naturally has handholds in it because it is a grid of sticks. So yeah, do an athletics check for me, please.
Yeah, let's do it.
DC. Not DC 3. It's not a critical failure. So you just kind of bumble a little bit. You put your hand up on one of the sticks snaps. You can try again. There's no penalty to trying again. You just roll the same check again if you wanted to.
Yes, I want to. I'm not going to be deterred.
DC 10 for this. Hey, that is a critical success. You go easily clambering up. With the critical success, I'm happy for you to move anywhere on top of the cage you'd like to move.
That's me.
Very cool.
Top of the cage.
Top of the cage. You've got one more action if you want to use it. Don't have to.
No, I'm fine, thank you.
That's fine. Ward ticks down. Round 4. Monkeys in cage. Lady in the cage. Anything from you? We'll get this guy off the turn order as well.
Wild empathy.
Yes.
Make an impression it usually takes a minute, right?
It does. Yeah.
So,
It does in combat as well, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I thought so. That wouldn't be possible.
No.
No, that's fine. Just wanted to
Cool.
check.
Mm-hmm.
So is the cage open now? I was reading.
No one's opened it.
No, that's fine. How is it secured?
Your cage is secured with a rudimentary lock. It does look very rusty and old. Doesn't look like it's Sari made, and instead they've perhaps stolen it or taken it from somewhere else. Yeah. There's a rusty lock on the cage door, which is where Slug just was on this side, and there's a rusty set of manacles which have been used to secure the other person in the cage with you, not you yourself.
I'm just sort of reading through my spells and stuff.
Of course.
How many actions is sense motive?
I think just one. Let me have a quick look. Sense motive. Yep, just one.
I want a sense motive on the panther.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a secret check, so I'll roll it for you. Can you tell me your perception modifier, please?
6.
Okay. Yeah. You don't think there's any magic affecting it. You think this is a panther acting on instinct, but it is fully in the thrill of hunt and bloodlust after a great amount of time being stuck in a cage. Doesn't look like it's about to stop or come into its senses.
Casting tether on it as I make a conjure, move fingers slowly through the air, and a number of roots from the ground just shoot up and try and grab its leg.
Incredible. Reflex save on Panther. Was pretty good at it. See how it does with a roll. Not secret. It's plus 10 to this. Oh my god, yeah. The roots shoot up, but it's starting to move already, beginning to lope forward towards Lorcor, as it is going to pounce with its first action at you, Lorcor. Plus 10 to this. There's a 25 to hit.
Oof, yep.
Not a crit. Plus 3 to this for its damage as its jaws sink in. 10 damage.
Local down.
Just like with the Sari before, kind of rides its momentum into your body as you go down. You gain the Dying 1 condition. Ward is still on you. I guess Rage drops as well because you're unconscious. It's a Rage token. Boop. There we go. With you being down, you are definitely no longer a threat to it. It's going to go for Slug. Slug is on top of the fucking cage. I will say the Panther does have a climbing speed, so it can clamber up immediately, but it's not hugely familiar with walking across grids of sticks. So I'm going to say it gets to here, but I'm going to do a balance action. And actually, it would have to do this separately. So let's see how it does. Acrobatics check. And this will be a DC 15. Acrobatics is plus 8. No, it fails. So one of its paws slips through the grid as it tries to stalk towards you, Slug. Its big, muscular shoulders moving slowly in that feline grace. But it does fail. And actually, because it failed, so it would have needed to balance to go from the side to you. Because it failed its balance check, this is all rules as written. It has to stay in its same space, so it doesn't quite make it to you. That is its turn. 1 to pounce, 1 to climb, and 1 to balance, but it failed. Tiberius, your turn.
He's gonna shout, "Run, Willy, run!" And he's gonna just cast Magic Missile on the Panther.
Very cool. 3, 2, and 3 for a total of 8 damage straight to the Panther.
Oh. Bloody hell.
As the knives sink in. Lorcor! Oh, wait, we need to do the thing. When someone gets knocked down, they actually move in their initiative order to just before the thing that downed them. So you're actually later on, Lorcor. The reasoning behind this, because when I first saw this, I was like, well, that seems bad. But actually, it means that your team gets a whole go of like trying to help you or resurrect you or what have you before it comes back to your initiative. So you make your recovery check later on. So that's the idea there.
Massively good change, in my opinion.
Yeah, it took me a bit to understand it when I first saw it. I was like, "What the fuck?" But yeah, it helps a lot, I think. Slug, your turn. The panther is stalking.
Oh.
What would you like to do?
Wow, I've got some pretty great options right here.
Yup. I'll just remind you, because it feels appropriate. Falling damage. If you fall more than 5 feet, the cage I've said is 10 feet tall, you take bludgeoning damage equal to half the distance you fell when you land. So you take 5 damage if you just fucking throw yourself off the side of the cage.
5 damage?
5 damage, I'm afraid. It is overhung by the trees. You could try and clamber up into some branches if you like, but the panther can climb as well. It's entirely up to you. It's a pretty scary situation. Not gonna lie, I don't envy you right now.
This guy might look tasty.
He might look tasty, yeah. He is inside the cage, but he might look tasty.
Is Slug skinny enough to fit through the little squares?
Ooh, Slug is small. Slug might actually be able to squeeze
into the cage.
Into the cage. Squeezing is... Oh, hang on. That's the wrong version of it. Squeeze. Sorry, just reading. Okay, so squeezing is actually an exploration activity. So here I wouldn't make you squeeze because Slug is a boy, and the cage is designed to hold adults. I would actually say you can squeeze through. You're still going to take 10 feet. You're still going to take your falling damage. Or probably what I'd do is I'd have you make an acrobatics check, because what you could do is like hold on to the bars as you squeeze through, and then drop down only 5 feet. At which point you take no damage because it has to be above 5 feet.
Roll. So you don't take any.
Do a sweet parkour roll, yeah.
Wow, I think that's a pretty good plan.
Yep. So as the panther's coming towards you, you squeeze yourself in. And try and fit your form through the cage. Excellent. Do an acrobatics check for me, please. See if you grab on to lower yourself down without harm. Yes, easily. Yeah, you drop nimbly to the floor, taking no damage, and now inside the cage.
Yeah.
Very nice. Anything else from you, Slug? You got 2 actions remaining.
Maybe I will attack the panther as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah, let's also do acid splash. Yeah.
Oh, very nice. Hit that button. Oh, 24 definitely hits. Don't know why it didn't roll damage for you. 1d6, please.
Yeah, that was rude, wasn't it?
Yeah, weird.
Oh, nice.
Nice. 5. And your charisma modifier? +3, I would guess.
Let me look.
Thank you.
Sin gives him an
Yeah.
impressed look with the acid splash.
Ah. Very nice. Yep, the acid hits true, boiling up from beneath it. You see clumps of fur falling out as the panther is badly burned from the acid. Very nice. Monkeys. Sin.
Sin will. Yeah, she'll just walk forward, stride, and then acid splash.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whoops, a close catch sheet. Idiot. Great, or a natural one.
I will say, I forgot to
Oh.
say at the start, everyone has 1 hero point at the beginning of a session.
Yeah.
So make sure you mark that on your sheet.
Using that.
Feel free. Oh, and the 22 and the 6 +1, 7. Badly hurt. Badly hurt. Anything else from you, Sin? Oh, that's 2 actions.
No, that's my turn.
Lawcore, I need a recovery check from you, please. First time we're doing this.
What was that?
I think it's a flat check. It's a good time for me to check. Dying. You gain the dying 1 condition. If you die, recovery check. Start of each of your turns, you must attempt a flat check with a DC equal to 10 plus your current dying value, which for you is 1, so 11. Yeah, it's just a straight roll. Roll a d20. You're hoping for 11 or higher, and 8 is lower. Your dying value increases by 1. We go to dying 2.
In this game, does natural ones still equal to death?
It does, because it's a crit fail, yes. But you do have 4. You have to go to dying 4 to die. Or if you take the die hard feat to 5.
That's
I won't
what,
use my hero point yet then.
Celia's got that die.
Yes, and Hannah, what's really forgiving about that is you can actually roll first.
Huh?
You can roll your check, see if it fails, and then use your hero point to do heroic recovery.
Oh.
Yeah. It's really forgiving. Those hero points are precious. Well, that is Lawcore, slipping a little bit closer to death. The panther's just been drenched in acid. It's going to climb down the side of the thing, which is 10 feet down, and then it's going to stride twice and fucking make for the tree line. 60 feet. Zoom all the way over here. Goes loping off. Tiberius.
Tiberius gonna do 2 strides up to Lawcore.
Yep.
Oh god, does he have any of this, or is that no? It's
So you can do. It does take 2 actions to do administer first aid, and you do need healer's tools.
I didn't think I have any of that.
Lawcore's got healer tools on him.
I'm happy for you to say that you would have had that, talked about that as a conversation. So you could use your last action to interact and take out the healing tools from Lawcore's bag, if you like.
Yes, that's what he would do.
Very cool. Slug. You are inside a cage. Slug,
Yeah.
what's the plan?
Melt the lock.
You could try and melt the lock. The lock has an AC.
Melt the lock.
Yeah.
I mean, what happened to the panther?
Panther's fucking running away.
Oh,
It is currently 70 feet from you.
oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Well, I don't wanna. I want to squeeze out. Can I squeeze out?
Of course you can. I forgot about this cage. Yeah. You can. It would just count as difficult terrain, so it'd just be 10 feet to move through. So you'd go 5 to the edge, 10 to come out, and you still have 10 feet left of movement, as you please.
Nah, he just comes out and he says, "Cool, blimey."
Can't believe that worked. Fish. He looks at Lorco.
Anything else from you, Slug?
No, that's all.
Tiberius does have the healer's tools, if you wanted to take them from him and try and use them.
No.
Roger that. Monkeys, Sin! You've watched this boy seemingly easily get into your cage, acid splash the panther, and then pop off out again.
I'm gonna Tempest Surge the panther.
Ooh. Surround a foe and oh my god. So the panther is surrounded by a swirling storm of violent winds, roiling clouds, and crackling lightning. Basic reflex save, roger that. It does have a good reflex modifier, it's plus 10. We'll see how it does. Oh, it says range 30 feet?
Oh, maybe I haven't. Yeah.
No,
No. Okay.
55 feet away.
Sorry, I'll do something else then.
That's alright. Give it a murderous look.
What else has a good range? Maybe this one. That's 30 feet as well. If I've got anything longer than that, 30 feet.
I've noticed quite a few in Pathfinder are 30 feet. It's made me realise, because I've done a million theory crafting builds now. I realise why people like taking the lengthen spell or whatever it's called, meta magic. But anyway, anything from you, Sin?
Yeah, I don't think I can hit it then from this range.
Roger that.
Yeah, I don't think I can hit it from this range then.
Anything with a lock? Anything in your current position?
I'll look to them. She'll look to Ollie Bim on the floor and cast Stabilize.
Ah.
Mm-hmm.
Target loses the dying condition though it remains unconscious at 0 hit points. Roger that. Dying condition gone. Is there a wounded condition? Anyway, I'll look for that later on. Ollie, you are unconscious. The panther is going to be off the map at this point. Yeah, he wouldn't fuck around. His survival instincts have kicked in. It's gone. And considering that Lawcore is stable, I can take us out of initiative. Very nice, guys. That was almost a severe encounter, though of course the panther skews it. That's really impressive. You all gain 160 experience points.
Nice.
Oh, actually, because the panther, because the panther turned on you, it's actually more than that. You gain, panther was a further 60, so 220 total.
To 660 now.
That sounds right to me. Yeah.
There is a wounded token as well. It's that red one with numbers on it, like halfway down. It's along from.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Wounded one is Lawcore. Don't think it's going to matter, but there it is. Yeah, so as you stand and the adrenaline begins to seep out of your bloodstream and your body returns to normal, your parasympathetic nervous system kicks back in. Nerd knowledge. The sounds of the jungle around you as the bodies of multiple exiled Sari litter the floor, and you are left with these two people in a cage. One of them, the man in the manacles, looks barely conscious. He's not quite asleep, but throughout this whole thing, he's just been slumped, sat on the ground with his back resting against the cage, his arms in these rusty manacles. The other, who helped you in this fight, is still currently in the cage. What would anybody like to do?
Tiberius would say to Slug. That was a good job, Slug. Getting in and out of that cage. It really, really held that panther up.
Pretty smooth stuff, eh?
I suppose if you want to look at Lawcore, this is the best time.
Kenda.
You look at the people in the cage. Thanks for helping us out there. I assume you're. Why are you in the cage? Well, not that I have to ask, Vasari.
You're welcome. I find myself in a predicament, I suppose.
Do you want to get out of the cage? What's the deal with this guy? He's not going to be any threat, is he?
She just looks to him and says, I don't think he's got any strength left in him. Sin wants to walk up to the lock and try and acid splash it off.
Yeah. Yeah, with the amount of time you have, and acid splash being a cantrip, it might take a few tries, but the acid melts away, the lock is destroyed, and the door is open for you.
Yeah, and she steps out of the cage.
Well, he grabs Lorca and starts to start dragging him towards the tent. I better put my friend to rest, you know. I assume there's a bed in there. Oh, actually, there's one over there. And he's going to drag Lorca to the bed next to the fire. Or he's going to try anyway.
Yeah, it takes you a while, but you do get Lorcor over there, his large bulk scraping across the ground.
Right, I don't know what you're doing, but we're sort of hanging out here for a little bit until our friend recovers.
I don't have nowhere else to be.
Well, we're going to search our tent to try and find some things. I'm not sure exactly what, but there could be something useful in there.
She kind of, she just is sort of observing, and yeah, she'll look down at Lorcor and then look to Tiberius and kind of, just sort of watch over Lorcor as he explores the tent.
Roger that.
You look at Slug and be like, you can look after Lorca or get a good look at him, Slug, or you can help me investigate this tent. There might be treasure in there.
Yeah, she'll agree to watch over him.
What do you think, Slug?
I want to look
Or-
for treasure.
Okay.
Well, go ahead, you get first bagsies, as it were.
So, as you step into the tent, there is a bit of a smell of butchered animal, of body odor, musky, herby scents from various gathered things. You see a number of different plants hung and dried around a ring of ropes that circle the top of the tent. There are no tables in here. Everything is done on the floor. There's a number of bedrolls, look similar to the ones outside. But a few things do catch your eye. First and foremost, there is a large map held open. It looks like it's cured leather map held open by 4 small rocks, one at each of the corners, large square map. Depicting clearly the surrounding area with a number of different marks and scribbles on it. Beyond that, you see a small collection of gold coins that are just laid out next to the map, and within the selection of gold coins you see a little glimmer of green, what looks like a gem, and as you get closer to it you notice that it's a small gem emblem in the shape of a cat.
Cool. Tiberius would look at it and he'd be like, it looks like you found something pretty nifty there, Slug.
It'll be a good reminder of how we escaped a panther.
Yes, and it's very shiny as well. I'm sure it'll impress all your big boy friends at home. And girls.
Yeah, they're gonna love this.
Tiberius would look at the map.
Yes, as you look down at the map, you notice a few things. The scribbles on them are indecipherable to you, Tiberius, as they are written in Sari language, a very crude, almost runic-like language. But you can decipher, just from looking at it, some basic things. One, that there seems to be 3 different locations, including this one that you're at, where trapping is done. The locations are marked by simple pictograms. The one you're at is marked with a symbol of what looks like a 4-legged creature, like a deer. And you surmise that perhaps this is an animal trapping location. Whereas there is one further to the north, quite near to New Quivershank, which is marked with a pictogram of a human. And then there's one further to the south and closer to the coast, but still just on the edge of the tree line in the jungle, that has a pictogram of fish. The setup, the picture of the crude drawing of the ruined tower is surrounded by 4 pools, but you notice something that has been added, clearly added to the map since then. It's like a stain. Perhaps they've used some crushed leaves or herbs to generate a brown stain in a liquid and wiped it over this. And it looks like this thing has been done more and more over time. So there's like a deepening stain emanating from the southwest that now covers the southwest pool of the 4 pools that are around the ruined tower. You take a moment while Slug is admiring his little green gem piece cat, and there's 7 gold pieces in total, Slug, whatever you want to do with those.
Look at him.
But you notice, Tiberius, that there are arrows drawn, a global language of arrows, seeming to show that there's some kind of rotational element. So there's an arrow going from the tower to the human trapping location, from there to the location that you're at, from there to the fish marked location, and then back to the tower itself.
So the place that looks most interesting is where this marking is been done recently, probably.
Yeah.
And put it in his. So I guess he'd think they're sort of patrols, maybe.
That seems a fair judgment. Yeah.
He'd just be thinking they better get out of here when local gets up.
Understandable.
There's the money, the cat, the map. Was there anything else in here?
There are some basic accoutrements of these guys', well, if you can call it a trade, the trapping trade. There are nets, there are ropes, there aren't any more manacles or locks. It seems like they're really working with bare bone stuff here. There is a number of crude spears, some basic sort of curing leathers, nothing particularly fancy, I'm afraid. I will say, you remember from being ambushed by this exiled Sari before, that many of them wear small pouches on their belts, which often carry bits and pieces that might be useful.
I guess he'd tell Slug, like, we should go check those bodies. They might have some potions. We can get Lorcor up and get out of here.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I'll definitely do that.
Cool. As you go out and check the bodies, each of these bodies are quite disappointing. They have a number of different small herbs. Some of them have some dried rations, bits of dried meats and such on themselves. They have their spears if you wanted to take those. But the larger man, who was so brutally destroyed, has something more. The leather bindings around his fists draw your eye as you notice a faint, unnatural shimmer of like a light blue. It almost looks like a bioluminescence embedded in what looks like sari writing across the strips of leather cord themselves that just faintly shimmer. They're currently bound around his fists, but you could take a moment to unbind them. He is most certainly dead. And in his pouch, you do find a minor healing potion and a vial of what looks like a thick, like dark, browny black fluid.
I think he would take off the wraps and then go over to Lorcor and pour the healing potion in his mouth.
Yeah.
Could Sin have tried to? Is it? Can you treat people's wounds? I forget how that works.
You can indeed. You do need healer's tools, which the party does have, but no one's
no.
been explicit with what you did
That's
with the
fine.
healing tools.
If I can't do it, then I can't do it. I just I couldn't remember how it worked.
Well, it depends. Would Slug have kept the healing tools with him? Or Tiberius actually had them? Would he have kept the healing tools with him?
If he thinks that she's gonna try and heal her, he'd be like, "Why not?"
Yeah. Go ahead and make that check then, please.
Okay.
Medicine check. DC 15. Amazing. Yeah. Roll 2d8. Oh, 14 HP back to you, Lorcor. So Tiberius, by the time you return, actually, you can see that Lorcor is beginning to stir. This woman has, with great skill and ability, seems to know what she's doing with the healer's tools and has administered to Lorcor's wounds. You see many of them now patched up or covered by salves. And Lorcor, you are battered and bruised, but feeling a lot better now.
Yeah. Just kind of sits up. Damn.
Tiberius would come over and be like, "Lorcor, I got you a present off that guy you brutally mauled," and give him the wraps. I don't know what they are, but they're on his hand, so...
Yeah, what do they do again? No, okay.
You guys don't know. They do show magic on them. You can see this like shimmering blue light in the carved writing, but you don't currently know. You can try and identify magic as an exploration activity if you like. Takes 10 minutes.
Look, we'll just put them on for now.
Puts them on.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Allow me to check something.
You would have left that liquid for Slug.
What liquid? I missed the liquid.
There was like a brown liquid or something, wasn't there?
There was indeed, in a little simple glass vial. You see a thick, dark brown black liquid.
Oh, I definitely want that.
You can do a nature check. Any of you can do a nature check to see if you can see what this is.
Yeah.
As it is not magical. Slug.
Yeah.
And certainly Sin. Sin, you recognize this immediately in a kind of offhand way as a natural venom, a poison. Slug, you remember this because you remember seeing a paralyzed lizard. A large lizard that had crawled near to the outskirts of New Quivershank, and you came across one of your crew, whose names I've written down, and I was super happy with them. Yeah, I'll say you came across the two twins, Peachkin and Poochkin, who were poking this lizard, each with a little stick, and it seemed like it was paralyzed. You noticed it was still like shallow breathing. Its eyes were open, and you saw around these bite marks on the back of its neck this dark brown liquid. And you know this to be giant centipede venom. You can use this as an item. You can apply it to a weapon, and it can cause damage to whatever it hits. It apply giant centipede venom to them, which is really nasty. Pathfinder has this whole system for poisons where you make like saves depending on how fast they act and things like that. But this shit is nasty. It can cause them to become clumsy and and flat-footed and take a lot of damage.
That's exactly the kind of thing that I want.
It's exactly the kind of thing a 13-year-old should have.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got giant centipede venom.
Yeah. Tiberius would bring out the map. Everyone looking. I found this in a tent. Looks like they've got something going on, and you point at that smear.
Brown smear.
What does it mean?
I don't know, but if they've drawn over it multiple times, it could be interesting. I don't know. Its location, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Is it further south of here?
So let me take you over to the. Oh, I forgot. Before I take you, there is a fourth point of interest for you on the map that I forgot to say. It is marked with a little pictogram which depicts a person walking into a cave. A human walking into a cave. And it looks like it might be a cave or a tunnel. And it is marked on the map for you guys now. So, I've marked the 3 trapper locations with red dots and this seeming tunnel pictogram, which is to your north west. And I've also, just because it's fun to remember, marked the glow grove, which is where you got the seeds from.
And we are here.
You are the spyglass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He would say, because he's thinking, like, should we go back to Pushkin? But it's nowhere near. He's like, I think we should get out of here and head towards whatever that is.
Okay. Who is this lady? I looks at you, Sin.
She looks down and says, you may call me Sin.
Hello.
Hello.
Are you going to travel with us, or have you got places to be?
I have nowhere pressing to be.
Well, we better get to this tunnel before more people come.
Yeah, stick with us. You might get something good like this. And then he's going to show off his cool cat gem.
She looks at it and kind of sort of raises her eyes in a kind of like, interesting kind of way, and says, yes, I do believe that is an excellent plan.
Could you have a look at my little friend there? He got a bit beat up, and I see that he did an excellent job with big old Lorcal here. I assume you're not just proficient at hulking beings.
I can certainly have a look. Yeah, she'll go have a look at Willie Slugnilly.
Yeah, if you want to treat wounds, take you 10 minutes. That's fine. We can say something. You've been doing that for some of this time. You guys are chatting away. Feel free to make a medicine check. That's a fail, but not a critical fail. No harm is done. You can see with Slug, some of the injuries look internal. Doesn't look horrible. It's just some nasty bruising from where he's been struck with the blunt force of the spear striking him. You think there's not much you can do at the moment?
There is little I can do at this moment, but He'll live.
Well, don't worry, Willie. If anything happens, I've got this healing potion, and I will sliver it down your throat if you need it.
What about Slug?
Oh, sorry, Slug. I remember you when you were just a little Willie walking about. I forgot you'd grown into a new name.
Don't you forget.
I won't. Not after
Potions
those.
don't slither.
Well, you know what I mean. I think. Yes.
No.
Maybe we should get a mile or two out of here before they come patrolling around.
Mm. Did you get the snack? Kind of points this direction.
The map? Yes, it was in the tent.
No. The snack.
The what?
Snack.
Snack?
Yeah, snacks.
You point at that big guy and be like, "You got a big snack to eat there if you don't mind sharing your food with that jaguar."
Thinking more monkeyish ones.
Oh no, still in the cage if you want to have a snack. I mean, I'm not adverse to it, but monkeys are too close to humans for ephemeral elves for me to eat. But I go crazy, I suppose. I'm not stopping you.
Yeah, Lorcan just gets up and he's gonna go grab a monkey.
It's fucking shooting monkeys in a cage. They're all just and trying to back away from you, but you can just reach in and grab as many monkeys as you like.
Yeah. Nom.
Yum yum yum. Crunch crunch crunch. Yeah, during this time, anyone paying vague attention would have noticed that the slumped figure in the cage has kind of crawled out of the cage towards you guys. He is prone. He looks in a sorry state of health. His skin looks much paler than his natural tone. You can see that his ribs at his sides. He looks like he was probably a fairly striking and powerful figure when he wasn't malnourished, but right now he's in a terrible way. And with his manacled hands, you just hear the rattle of the chain as he moves his arms forward, pulls himself clearly in pain towards you all, and he's just muttering something under his breath.
Tiberius just gonna be like, "Hello there."
The figure's head doesn't raise up to look at you. It looks like he's barely got enough energy, but it raises slightly and just calls out in a language you don't understand. Weak voice. Jinta. Calls out to you.
Does anybody speak sorry? It looks at Sim.
I do not. Sin will approach him and try and treat his wounds.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and roll a medicine check, please.
Not great.
Yeah, you're able to give him comfort, get him into a position. He does look relieved. You're kind of supporting his back and head. He's slumped back against you. And you can see he's flitting in and out of consciousness. But you think with food and water and time, he will be fine, or should hopefully be fine. But he is desperate for that, if you guys have any food or water to spare.
Crunch, crunch, crunch.
Yeah.
Give him some monkey.
And Tiberius, give him some water. Give him some. Give him one of those things. The glowing seed.
Ah, yeah. Take one out of your inventory, and as you feed him the seed and help wash it down with water, there is an immediate kind of rush of blood to his cheeks. A long kind of exhalation sigh. And his hand kind of snaps up, not to grab, but to just rest on the side of your arm as you've kind of given this to him. and there is a deep look of gratitude in his eyes, and he says, "Tarek Da," something in Sari, as he looks up at you and kind of nods his head.
Being an idiot, would just be like, "Yes, Tarek Da to you too, my friend." Not sure what I think of those tattoos, but you haven't attacked me, so that's good.
Would with Sin's other languages she knows, Tom, and her training in certain things like academia and maybe society, would she be able to interpret any of the words he's saying?
You think, as this is beginning to happen, and he's not overly chatty, but he is saying a few things, you think you're starting to get a rudimentary idea of some phrases. Tarek Da seems to be like a thank you or something of gratitude. There are some other bits and pieces that come through. There's a clear one, which isn't even language-based, where he gestures to himself with the shaking chains of the manacles on his hands, like points to himself and says, "Ka Ren." You think that must be his name.
Ah, yes, Kieran. What a brilliant name.
Yeah, you think, Sin, with your learning, go ahead and roll a law academia check for me, please.
Okay.
Yeah, not bad. You think the Sari language hasn't changed that much. They are quite a rigid culture, and you've probably seen small passages in various books, even if it's like names of places, brief descriptions, words that have been adopted by other languages. You think you've probably got enough to hold the most basic of conversations with this man.
Yeah, she doesn't plan to. She's just sort of listening and
Yeah.
seeing what she can garner from it.
Yeah, he's addressing Tiberius and saying a few things. It seems to be one of gratitude. After having the seed, he's still very weak, but he kind of limply holds his arms up and shakes the manacles a little bit. Kind of gesturing towards all of you, really.
Sin will cut through them with an acid splash, if possible.
It would likely damage him as well, with it being a splash. Does splash damage.
She'll observe for now then and see what others do.
Yeah. He's not weak enough to properly protest. He's just kind of limply shaking the manacles on his wrists.
Tiberius is confused and we'll just give him another seed.
You feed him another seed. He definitely doesn't complain, and he looks pleased with this. And again, Tarek Da, Tarek Da. Shake, shake, shake. Chains, clink, clink, clink.
Lorca is just coming back, dragging about 4 monkeys, dumps them in front of the fire pit.
Yep.
Eat before we go.
Yeah.
So that's the sorry guy.
The fire pit's well set up to hang things above the fire.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you'll do that then.
Nice. Yeah, the sorry guy kind of crawls over towards you. He does take a moment to look at all the bite marks on the bodies around him and kind of size you up, but the offer of food and the smell of cooking flesh is too much for him to resist. So he crawls over.
Another one to follow us? Kind of looks over to Tiberius and Willie.
If he wants to, I suppose. I mean, I imagine If those people came back, they'd just put him in the cage again.
Are the tattoos on him quite easy to see?
Yes, absolutely. He wears his tattoos proudly. They snake up the side of his head. He seems to have favoured his right side with his tattoos. They go across his chest, which he wears bare, right down to his simple kind of gathered loincloth, and down his right leg as well. They are striking and seem to depict lots of different scenes. Lots of Sari writings and different things there.
Can I recall
We are going to
knowledge?
keep one of them with us.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, Karen.
Absolutely, you can recall knowledge, yeah.
About the Sari.
Yeah, feel free to do an academia or a history check. Or a
What's-
society check.
I mean, it's the same, so I guess I'll do academia.
Yeah, you know that they are a close-knit community that has spread very far. Most commonly seen around the nation and landmass of Sedistray, which is to the west, southwest. They are typically isolationist, though not exclusively so like the Eternal Elves. They do trade with people sometimes. Absolute masters of the sea and sea travel. Their settlements are built from overturned Sari vessels and can be repurposed in a very short time to form a flotilla, and the Sari can move. Sometimes they're nomadic, but sometimes they settle down more. You know, they have a place, at least a few settlements in all the nations of Archivia. They value consistency, they value respect for nature, they value family, and they strongly dislike pomp and kind of the trappings of civilization. The Sari people typically live quite simple lives, though they are expert hunters, trappers, many herbalists, primitive alchemists. They have an oral tradition, but also a written tradition in their tattoos, which are often the focus of great interest from non-Sari academics, but they protect the knowledge of it fiercely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can Tiberius look around the camp so you can find a key for this guy's manacles?
Absolutely. Do an investigation check, please. Oh, perception check. There is no investigation.
In the meantime, can Lorco just try and break it?
Yeah, do an athletics check.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah. So, Tiberius, you're sweeping around. You look in amongst the bed clothes. You find some old rotten meat beneath one of the bed rolls. Pretty grim. And as you're kind of like shaking off your hand with a disgusted look on your face, you hear a satisfying sound of snapping and aching metal as Lorcor, because these manacles are so rusty, you're able to just snap the chain between them. To destroy the actual manacles on his wrists would take a bit more, you think. It's not an easy thing to get purchase on and destroy, but you have destroyed the chain between them, so he's able to move his arms freely.
Cool. I mean, he doesn't really care about him having metal around his wrists, personally.
Yeah. The guy's eyes go wide, and there's like a spoken Sari word of admiration and surprise. He kind of looks at your form, it's just like, Tokre. He looks you up and down and thanks you.
He kind of looks down at this guy, and he's just, if you betray us, I eat you.
The guy's just smiling and nodding as you're talking.
Tiberius would be like, look here, laddie. I'm no fan of Asari, but when you're in a predicament and we got you out, and just don't go betraying us. And he points at Lorcor.
Lorco points at his mouth and grins.
Okay, so look here, laddie has met with him, turning to face you, Tiberius. He's kind of nodding. As he hears the word sorry, a slight smile opens up and he points to himself. He's like, sorry. And then as you point around, he turns around to see Lorcor, who's opened his mouth and is pointing in, and the guy kind of leans back a little bit and is just like, yeah, and holds his hands up to either side.
Tiberius just does like thumbs up and he like smiles at him.
The guy nods along and goes back to ravenously munching on the cooked, charred monkey.
Eat some monkey. What time is it? Is it late?
I believe you got here early afternoon. Not that much time has passed. You've still got maybe a couple of hours of daylight if you wanted to travel further.
I think we should. Because
Could do.
if they're patrolling, they might come back.
Oh yeah, I suppose so. But then if they patrol, they're going to see someone's been here.
They might think it's a jaguar.
True, but I don't know. It depends how smart they are. But they can put teeth to teeth, you know.
Yeah.
The fact they're mostly bite marks might.
Yeah,
help.
but a jaguar's teeth are quite a bit different to crocodile teeth.
It's true.
Sorry, our expert hunters.
Also, there's acid everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if we stay here, we'll be found. And if we move, we might not be. I don't know.
Yeah, we can try and be stealthy.
I think Kieran's right.
Let's go.
We had our monkey. We can go now.
Yeah.
And we're leaving the monkeys in the cage?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just checking.
There's probably not many left, but yeah.
Yeah, I'd say there's probably like 4 monkeys left, looking very traumatized in the cage. Cool. All right. The 5 of you, Taren kind of follows along, not really knowing what else to do at the moment, seemingly. Head off, and where are you heading towards? I'll take us back to the X-Men.
The tunnel.
Okay, to the marked tunnel. So, could I have a survival check from whoever is leading you guys through the jungle?
Is it local or is it me?
It had been local previously, I believe.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind. Lorcor is injured, so it's up to if anyone wants to take over.
We'd look at Sin and be like, "You really better than any of us at guiding yourself around the jungle?"
I suppose I don't know how well you travel, but I can give it my best go.
Yes, we're heading towards this tunnel as he points on the map.
I see. Yeah, Sin will give us a survival check again.
Cool. Oh, hello. Yeah. Sin takes a moment to orient, sharp eyes, looking around, but then takes a very directed stride forward through the jungle. And with that critical success, you're going to get there with a little bit of light left. So
Sin would make a point of like being more at the back, but kind of guiding Tiberius just by telling him like, "No, this way," sort of thing, rather than leading from the front.
Cool, makes perfect sense to me. So as high fire is setting in the sky and the light of Cena is taking over, blanketing the world once more in a twilight gloom, you find yourselves met at the base of a low wall of cliff. The cliff itself looks like it's as a result of tectonic activity. The trees go right up to the edge of the cliff, and they continue up above as well. But using the map to guide you, and with that very impressive roll, you're able to walk along the cliff side, and hidden behind a number of thick bushes and vines draped across it is a clear opening, maybe about 7 feet tall, 12 feet wide. This squat opening in the bottom of the cliff seems to lead into the darkness within, into the cliffs.
Sin would just say to Tiberius that, I believe your tunnel lies in there.
He just looks at it like, oh, I wonder what's in there. Might be suspicious.
Many creatures, most likely.
Maybe we should watch it for an hour or so and then approach. Get and camp in the mouth of it, or don't know.
Yeah. Do we know if they're like big, like bears and stuff that live in this jungle? Or is it just big cats?
You can do a nature check.
Don't know.
You have hunted around. I'll say with that roll, you feel confident in the immediate area around New Quivershank that there's nothing that much bigger than the large cats that hunt around. But as you guys are starting to head further and further from New Quivershank now, they're not too far yet. You're not sure if there might be bigger things further in.
Okay. I mean, you wouldn't know what a bear looked like if you saw one.
So you're faced with this cave, perhaps a tunnel leading further in. It is coming to nighttime now. Do you want to try and rest? Do you want to head in? What's the
Go
plan?
sit in the mouth of it, like Tiberius said. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So you settle down in the mouth of the cave. It provides you shelter. The sounds of the jungle dim slightly as you're taken slightly away from the tree line. Are you settling down for the night?
There's one thing he'd want to do before, and he's not the most perceptive of people. He wants to see if he can see any like footprints around, if people are coming and going. That sort of thing.
Absolutely. Survival check, please.
I would like to do the same if that's alright.
Absolutely. Okay. Tiberius, you do notice that there is a lot of scuff to the workings of the tunnel. You can't really discern individual prints too much, but you're pretty confident just from the look of how the greenery diminishes before you get to the overhang of the cliff itself. You feel confident that people do walk this way fairly often. Sin, you are able to take a bit of a closer look, and from your experience, you can see that there are no boot tracks, but you know the Sari don't tend to wear footwear a lot of the time. Or if they do, it's very simple and hugs the shape of the foot. It looks like there are no animal tracks here. It looks like this tunnel or cave is used exclusively by humanoids.
It looks like Sari folk have been travelling through here. Certainly no beasts make this cave their home.
Recent track.
Did you say they look recent, Tom?
Yes.
She
Within the last few days.
She would nod.
Should keep watch then.
Yes. Let's do that. Let's have a little reprieve. Camp in the tunnel. If anyone comes along, local, you can deal with them.
I will.
Right. So you're settling down for the night? People being on watch?
Yeah, probably 2 at a time, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, sounds good.
that won't affect the long resting.
Think so.
I always have to check the resting. Cool. Cool. Whoever is taking the first watch, can I have a perception check, please, from each person?
Tiberius has
Oh.
low light vision, so
Also,
you did.
Sin, would you have taken any equipment from the Sari trappers' camp?
Nope.
Okay, then Sin is without a bedroll or similar, and will struggle to rest that well. Though she has had to do so in the cage, but might not have the most restful night. Just so people are aware.
I mean,
Does that have any? Excuse me, I'm really gassy. Does that have any mechanical effects?
I would say I'd probably have it because of Sin having to make do in the cage. It would probably only reduce the HP you recover, but seeing as you haven't taken damage, you're not really worried about it. So
Yeah.
no,
Okay.
not at the moment.
it's alright. You can just share Willie's one. He's small.
You have the tent and a number of bedrolls.
Let Grandma
Yes.
have your bedroll, Willy.
Cool. So you guys bed down. Have I had those? Who's going first?
I'll do one, I guess.
I've only got normal vision. I'm a normie, so
I've got low light.
I also have low light.
Yeah, low light helps a lot in Archivia with Cena in the sky. There is essentially low light throughout the night.
15.
And from whoever else is taking the first watch.
While we're doing the watch as well,
Ooh. Yeah, go on.
Tiberius will be like, "So why were you in that cage, Sin?"
Seemingly the Sari beasts took me when I was disposed and placed me in it.
I guess he's never seen her from the Quivershank, right?
You don't recognize her, no.
Okay.
When I awoke, I was within their trappings.
Where are you from? Are you native to this place?
No, I am from Glamorand.
How did you get here? By boat?
She kind of sarcastically says, well, I certainly didn't swim, dear.
You could have swam. I don't know how strong a swimmer you are. I don't know how big the sea is either, really.
Well, I'm not much of a swimmer. I prefer flying if possible.
Ooh. That's... What? He kind of just looks at her arms.
She wryly grins again, like in a sarcastic kind of tone.
Are you here for any reason, or is that your own business?
Trying to figure out how much she would say. This place was a punishment of sorts, I suppose.
Well, we've got a thriving town which you can come visit when we're on our way back. I'm sure everyone would appreciate a new face.
Would she have ever heard of New Quivershank?
No.
No. You... I'm surprised to find settlers that are not sorry out here.
Well, that's why we're out here. We're trying to find ways to make New Quivershank greater than it currently is. And, well, my friend Lorcor and Little Slug, we're the best that New Quivershank has to offer. So they sent us on our merry way, and we're doing something, that's for sure.
Does she recognise the name Quivershank at all?
You can do a history check.
What skill would that be? Because I know it's not history in Pathfinder, is there? That's society?
Oh, sorry. Yes, society.
12.
No, nothing comes to mind. It sounds like a Hespian naming convention, though.
It sounds Hespian.
Well, that's where my forefathers came from. My forefather came from.
I see. Did your forefather travel across the sea and create this new Quivershank?
He did indeed. The greatest city in the Serrated Isles. Some may say the only city in the Serrated Isles, but I don't let that bother me.
She
The
says,
city may be over-exaggeration, to be honest. It's really just a few... it's more of a hamlet that aspires to be a city, but you have to be what you want to become.
I will say it is a noble endeavour to create civilization in defiance of the illegitimate forces of creation.
He's just like nodding, like, Yes, my father was a great man. He had aspirations that were too much for many men. I'm sure you can meet him. He's a fabulous fellow.
I would very much enjoy meeting your father.
Yes, and there's Pushkin as well. He owns the tavern. He's an aspirational cat, and there's Salis, who he mainly peacocks about all day, but he's got a little Hespian about him. That's all the big players, really, except the people I don't care to mention.
Well, I would take great interest in meeting some of these characters.
I'm sure we can set you up with a tent if you need it. And he looks very impressive, yes.
She sort of, she just sort of carefully eyes him up and down and just sort of nods slightly in kind of agreement.
Well, good. The population grows. It may be one, but soon it may be many more.
Yes, perhaps.
So, your watch goes uneventful. Tiberius, you notice, as you're kind of happily talking about New Quivershank, proudly doing so, you notice that there is, further into the cave, you see the occasional glint of light. Reflected moonlight just catches the angle breaking through the canopy of the tree line not far away from you. It looks like the cave or tunnel is quite slick as it goes further in. It's the shimmer of moisture on rock.
Shimmer of moisture on rock.
Yeah, it looks like there might be a water source further in. You can't hear the sound of running water though, but you can certainly see the rocks further in, or some of them look very shiny, as if wet.
And there's no sign. Well, there's no like torchlight or anything like that.
Not unless you guys have set up torches. Certainly not from further in the cave. No.
Okay. He'll store that in his memory.
Cool. But yeah, your watch passes. Good few hours pass as you're splitting up your watch. In true Pathfinder style, it actually even gives you a little table of your party size compared to how long your watches would have to be and your rest time would have to be. Is it Lawcore and Slug taking over? I mean, I remember previously
Yeah.
Slug not wanting to take a watch. What's Slug doing now? Is Slug joining in or just sleeping on through?
Well, he is asleep, but what's going on?
You guys are going through the night. It's just whether Slug would have wanted to take part or been vocal about not taking part in keeping watch in the night.
He wouldn't. He would do it if someone told him to, but he wouldn't offer.
Would anybody have told Slug to?
No.
Nope.
Yeah.
Then he sleeps on through. Okay. Lawcore, you find yourself alone, keeping watch. Your beleaguered Sari companion is very much passed out and in need of lots of rest, but you could wake him if you wanted to.
Lawcore's just briefly looks over to the Sari guy, kind of wanting to eat him, kind of not. But he's just sitting there sharpening his claws and whatnot.
The thoughts, oh god. I can just imagine, like, you know when people drum their fingers, like, drrrt, drrrt, I can just imagine the claws clinking on the ground. Oh my god, fucking terrifying. Cool. So, also I meant to ask, would anybody have attempted to identify the wraps, the leather wraps?
Oh, yeah.
Sin would have, but only if she could, like, unless she would either do it from like a distance, like just for her own thoughts, or like unless someone was like, "What's this?"
No, you could do it from a distance. That's absolutely fine. What
Sorry.
spell school would you like to try?
Oh, I'd actually try primal. Like,
Very cool.
yeah.
What is your nature modifier for me, please?
6.
Cool. I have to roll this secretly.
Yeah, sorry, I accidentally kicked on Arcana when I was.
No, not at all. That's force of habit. Yeah, having to do it from afar frustrates you, and you're not quite sure. These things are clearly magical, though they don't seem to have had any particular effect on Lawcore at the moment. Yeah, you think perhaps you're going to need them in your hands, properly
Mhm.
looking them over to get a better read on them.
Would she ask him?
Natalie?
Just thinking.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
He wouldn't ask, he's just wearing them.
No,
He's not
that's-
a magic
yeah.
man.
Cool.
I don't think she's that interested in a set of magical wraps, like with this moment in time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially because he's wearing them already. Like,
I think he probably would have taken them off to sharpen his claws or whatever he's doing. Wipe blood off his face and all that.
yeah, I don't think. I think she is curious to see them in action and see what happens. Learn by observation.
Cool. So, your watch passes for the most part uneventful, Lawcore, but you do towards the end of it, as the very thinnest bits of sunlight begin to creep up over the canopied horizon. You do notice a set of glimmering feline eyes peering at you from the tree line, the brush. Probably about 80 feet away from you.
Does it look like it's in us?
Oh, without a doubt, it is
Yeah.
staring at you.
He just stares back at it.
Yeah, you lock eyes with this clearly feline yellow eyes. No, your perception check was high enough. You catch the barest glimpse of black fur.
Lawcore would slowly stand up and just
Mhm.
sort of like as he does, he just taps the floor. Like, come on then.
Yeah. As you tap the floor and stand up, the eyes recede back into the brush and disappear.
Mm.
Cool. So, you've all now taken a long rest. Those without maximum HP, you can add your Constitution modifier multiplied by your level. Back to you.
Mm.
So, whatever your con mod is, which I think for you is +3 law core,
Yeah.
you'd get 3 HP back.
Okay.
And slug again, but you basically get your Constitution modifier back. If you guys are level 2, you get your Constitution modifier ×2 back.
Can I, in the morning, try and treat wounds on anyone who's missing HP again?
Yeah, I'll take us back to the Trapper site scene so you guys can amend your tokens. And yeah, absolutely. If people are willing to be treated, feel free to try treat wounds. Takes 10 minutes a pop, but that's not a problem. Everyone's doing their daily preparations,
I'll try.
refreshing their spells.
I'll try and
Yeah.
law call first.
Medicine check. That's a success. 2d8, please. Hoping for an 11. Oh, beautiful. Local
nice.
back up to full HP. Again, with great skill, practiced technique, Sin goes about treating your wounds. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Natalie, but I imagine Sin being quite practical, not being the sort of smiley
Oh, absolutely.
bedside manner, but just very much like, yes, this wound requires sewing here, here, and here.
Mm-hmm.
But
Anytime
very
you
effective.
You fuck up a little bit and like cause him any pain, he sort of growls at you like, but then it's calm.
If he growled at her, she would give him a fiery, like, Ice Queen stare and, like, lock eyes with him backwards. Like, she would not, like, refrain away from him in terms of glaring.
Oh yeah, glaring contest.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
do
He would back
contested
down,
intimidation checks if you like. Oh no, he would back down. There you go.
He would back down because he's getting treated by her.
Yeah,
Very cool.
She would just maintain eye contact while still, like, sewing a wound, sort of thing.
Oh, I love that.
Then she'll try on Slug, if Slug's willing.
Yes, please.
Oh, that's a critical success. For the fun of it, I mean, no, it is guaranteed to get full HP, but you do get to roll 4d8.
It wasn't the best roll, so...
It wasn't, but there you go. Consummate skill, patching you up, Slug, and with the critical success, you barely feel it as well.
Marvelous work.
Thank you.
Good enough work.
What did he say?
Good enough work.
Fantastic. So make sure your spell slots are restored if you have spells. Your Sari companion looks a little bit better, having had a night's rest. He... Actually, that's a good point. You probably would have seen him as your watch came to an end, Lorcor, before the others started stirring. You would have seen him making for the tree line. Like standing up and walking to the tree line.
Walking slowly to the tree line.
Yes, hobbling, really.
Mm.
Would you have intervened at all, or just let him do his thing?
No, just he's watching him.
Cool. You would have watched him go to the tree line, take a few moments picking out a suitable branch, breaking a branch, finding some... In fact, he probably wouldn't find a suitable flint, and so he'd have to break some stones to get a sharp edge, and begin taking down some vines and trying to construct a basic spear.
Fair enough.
Cool. Yeah, and the rest of you would see this as well, because it's going to take him a little while. But yeah, you're beginning your day. What's the plan? Oh, and if people have... What are people doing for food?
Monkey.
Lawcore still has monkey. Yep.
I have the week's rations.
Oh, you do. Yep, I remember it's done like that. I'll keep that. I'll make a little note. Yep, that's still absolutely fine. Anybody else?
Yeah, I don't have anything, so guess I'm eating fucking monkey.
I'm eating some rations too.
Very cool. That's you guys ticked off. Is Lorcor sharing monkey
Yeah, he'll share monkey.
with the Sari as well?
Not with the Sari.
Okay. Then you'd see the guy, after he'd managed to construct his basic spear, heading off into the tree line. He's going to try and hunt. And actually, I might do a check for him. About half an hour's time, he returns with a small mammal. Looks like a large rodent. That he's sort of used its tail, tied its tail to the end of his spear, and he's got it cocked over his shoulder. He comes back, still slightly hobbling, but looking quite pleased. He starts eating the rat.
Yum.
Roar!
Nice.
So, what's the plan?
Into the cave.
Into the cave. Okay.
Can I cast detect magic?
Yeah. Are you casting it just where you are?
Like maybe once we're like 30 feet into the cave and it becomes more dark.
It can be your action, your exploration action if you like to just
Oh.
continually cast detect magic
I'll do that.
because it's a cantrip. Cool. So the detect
Yeah,
magic
cool.
cantrip at this level will it's essentially a yes/no
Yes,
button.
yeah, I did read it.
But it does have the usefulness, I believe, of it allows you to dismiss magical items that you're aware of.
Mm-hmm.
So immediately you do get a ping. You think it's probably from Lorcor's raps. But you're then able to dismiss it, and I'll keep that in mind. What is everybody else's exploration activities, please? If you're unsure, there is a list of exploration activities. I will share it to you all again. That you can have a look at.
Oh yeah.
Well, he might scout, but if that's what Lorcal was going to do, then he might investigate instead. But it
Lorcal.
depends on Lorcal.
Don't know what Lorcan's gonna do. Might try and stealth. Maybe.
Yeah, avoid notice.
Yeah. Well, because I've got the thing where I can camouflage as well. So I can kind of go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
But then is that scouting?
Yeah.
Don't know.
Whatever fits best with how you imagine your character going about their business.
I mean, it's probably better if somebody smaller and skinnier scouts, because then they'll be less likely to be seen, in a cave, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tiberius will scout then.
Tiberius Scout. Sin's doing repeat a spell.
I'm gonna try and camouflage in the. Actually, no, I'm not, because I need a torch anyway. So.
Yeah, it does look pitch black in there, unlike the light of Cena at night.
Yeah.
Unless you have dark vision, you will be blind.
Lorcor holds a torch.
Lorcor torch holder.
Yeah.
Cool.
In his teeth.
Very nice.
Um.
And Slug.
Don't know.
There doesn't have to be anything. It's up to you guys. You can investigate. You are traveling at half speed anyway because of the repeater spell and the scout. So you could search. You could investigate. I do those checks for you. It's just, what do you imagine Slug would be doing? Or avoiding notice if he's like hiding behind Lorcor because it's a scary tunnel. It's up to you.
Yeah, probably that one. Yes.
Sounds good. Thank you very much. So, as the four of you begin to start heading into the tunnel, you notice that your Sari companion does not seem keen to follow you. He kind of stands still while the rest of you begin heading in, and he calls out in Sari. You don't make out much, Sin, but you get the impression that he's kind of pointing with his improvised spear to the tunnel and just saying danger. Something about danger.
She would say that to Tiberius and say, I believe your friend thinks there's danger ahead.
Oh, he didn't see any animal tracks, did he?
Nope.
Well, I don't know where else we're going to go. He looks at Asari and he's like, "You don't have to come in. You can go on your own way or wait for us. I don't mind."
Can I sense
Hey.
motive on the sorry.
Yeah, I'll roll for you. What's your perception modifier?
6.
You're not sure. It's difficult to read body language. Sari kind of move differently to many of the cultures you've spent your time around. He repeats himself. This idea of danger. He points to his manacles, and he spits on the ground, seemingly disgusted, and kind of points to the tunnel again.
Sin will go up to his manacles and she's gonna acid splash him off. She doesn't really care if she hurts him.
Okay. The acid singes against his skin, and he hisses and holds the spear up towards you. But he's not a fool, and he can see that the acid is eating away at the manacles. He grimaces, and does take a bit of damage from you having to do both of them. But soon the warped and melted manacles do fall to the ground, and he's left with some nasty scars on the insides of his wrists. He gives...
Sorry, go on.
No, please.
She just would say, better to be burnt than shackled.
He gives... There's like a grunt and a stoic nod, but you can see he's like still wincing from the pain of it. He holds up the manacle, like waggles it in front of you, and points to the tunnel, and it's just like danger. Spits on the ground.
There are more Sari inside, is what he's saying.
But that's where we want to go. We can work things out, I think.
He doesn't seem keen.
Yeah, he throws the manacle to the ground now and takes another few steps back.
Tiberius would point in the tunnel,
Mm-hmm.
and then he'd like hold up his hand.
Yeah.
And he'd go like, he'd do one finger, then 2 fingers, then shrug. See what he does back.
Okay. Yeah. The guy would he would walk up to the rest of you. He's grateful with the manacles and everything, and he'd use the point of his very crude spear to draw on the ground, and he'd draw essentially he would draw like a crude mimicry of the map you guys have, with the arrows included, and with your like number thing, Tiberius, he would point at each of the places, the trapper camps, and hold up an open hand, 5. Like 5 points to one, 5 points to the next, and you remember you fought 5 exiled Sari at the trapper camp. He'd point to the tunnel, do like that kind of like shaky, unsure hand, hold up like he'd do like 2, 3, 5, 1 shaky hand, point to the where he's crudely shown like the ruined tower, and do 5, 5, 5.
So there's not that many in the tunnel, from what he thinks.
Seems that way, yeah. But he would then point. He would scrape his spear in a really like determined gesture from the tunnel to the tower. Scrapes through the dirt. And then taps the tower twice.
Mm.
You think we should go to the tower?
He's saying the tunnel leads to the tower.
Oh,
Danger.
we did want to go to the tower, though.
Why did you want to go to the tower? Out of curiosity.
Well, because Vasari keep our people, keep new Quivershank from growing. So we're trying to find something to help that along, and, well, it seems like if there's anything out there, it'll probably be in the tower.
Are you strong enough?
Just points at Lorcore.
She just kind of side eyes him and then looks down at her bloody needle and then doesn't say anything.
Yeah, as a note, you guys aren't washing. Lorcore is covered in caked blood.
Oh, yeah.
He is fucking fearsome. But yeah, the Sari does a final like resolute tap with the base of his spear on the ground. Stands up from his squatting position. Points at the tunnel. Danger. Gives you each a bit of a nod, and then turns to walk towards the tree line.
Mm.
I think you should follow him.
But wait a minute. If we helped him, maybe he's indebted to us.
Precisely. And she looks to the wraps around Lorca's hands and says, if you kill more Sari before heading to the tower, perhaps you'll find more items that will help you along your way. The more prepared you'll be, then the better chance you stand against more Sari.
Mm. String just looks cool around wrists, but killing Sari sounds good.
I think now that she mentions that, he feels like they should follow him, but he'd also look at Lorcore and Willie.
Yeah, I mean, local is up. He just wants to kill stuff. We're gonna kill some Sari happily.
I'm easy.
Patience is bitter, but the fruit will be sweet. Dear Tiberius Quivershank.
Yes, let's follow him then. Maybe that will give us. Maybe he's got some presents for us or something.
Oh yeah.
Okay. You take off following. You've packed your stuff away, and you take off following Car Ren into the tree line. You're following him now, so you're not leading yourselves. But anyone who wants to is free to do a survival check to try and see if you can understand where he's taking you, or at least what direction he's taking you in.
Yeah, I'll do
Can I
one.
look for the cat instead?
You can do a survival check to see if you can see any sign of the cat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Tiberius, you're not sure. What you do have is a bit of a moment, a Samwise Gamgee moment of, if I take another step, this is the furthest I'll have been from home. As you are being led further than you've ever been from New Quivershane. You just get a strong sense in your chest that you're going away from New Quivershane. He's definitely not leading you back
Ooh.
towards it.
Very exciting.
Sin, you get a vague feeling that you're heading in a northwesterly direction.
Mm-hmm.
And Lorcor, you do find signs, using your hunting skills, you find signs of the cat's recent occupation of this area. Some cat poop, scratch marks on trees, it's done some climbing. You think perhaps it slept up a nearby tree. The fact that the poop's there, it seems to have marked its territory in some places as well, leads you to believe that it is following you.
He wants it to follow.
Okay. You continue to follow your companion, who continually leads you onwards. He's not particularly chatty, but does point out various hazards in the jungle, keeps you away from certain plants, keeps you towards other plants. He occasionally sort of picks berries and munches fruit and other bits of plant life that he kind of chews on as he's going along. And occasionally he kind of points ahead and mutters. You don't pick up much from him, but Sin, you get the impression that he's telling you about a place of safety.
Okay.
For the end of the day, so as it's coming into sort of mid-afternoon, you do break the tree line, and you're all treated to the sight of these wide sweeping plains of grass, rolling hills, the occasional outcropping of jungle trees. But the jungle sounds diminish behind you as you're led out into this much more sort of meadow-like grassland landscape. Does anybody say or do anything, or are you just following along behind your guy?
Mm. We really trust this guy.
Well, I don't know. He is sorry, so that's not good, but we have helped him, and he is kind of being helpful. He's pointing out traps and things. I don't know where we're going, but I didn't before either, so.
Yeah, where are we going?
Hmm.
Yeah, you've been walking most of the day. You're all tired and sweaty. Your clothes are thoroughly soaked through with your own sweat. By now, the heat of the jungle and the day
So there's
passing by.
the wild Sari,
Yeah.
and then there's the other Sari who
Yeah.
keep us trapped.
The Sari who keep you oppressed, you know, are distinctly separate from the exiled Sari, who are the ones who've ambushed you and that you killed at their trapping camp.
But this
This
guy
felt
looks like he's
a
one
true
of
Sari, yeah.
yeah. So that's still not great.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. That's why
But we
Lorca wants to eat him.
we did help. He seems to be being all right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Also get to where he's taking him like fuck that woman. But then this guy might be like, oh yeah, they helped me. Or he might be like, yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, you don't know.
Well, at the moment, we're going away from all of the destinations we know of.
Yep. Yeah, for every one of you except Sin. Actually, no, for Sin as well. For all of you, this is new ground. Large empty meadows. You would. I think Tiberius, I don't even want you to roll for this because this would be something you'd clung on to. This would look like an area old to you in a story of Lord Quivershank's great shifting of the tumbler herd that saved the fledgling new Quivershank and gave it food, conveniently leaving out that it also killed a load of people. But yeah, a site of national significance.
He'd probably be taking it in and be like pointing out to Lorcor and Slug. This looks like where the tumblers were. How beautiful. Taken in by it. He doesn't know anything about where the normal Sari camps are, does he?
So, you would all be aware that the main Sari settlement is far to the west. This is common knowledge amongst the people of New Quivershank. When the Sari first dealt with New Quivershank, there was a trading of information, not detailed, but the Sari wanted the people to be aware that they were a permanent fixture on this island and not to be dismissed. So there is a proper Sari encampment far to the west. So what you can see on this map is something that you would be aware of. You also know this symbol here represents an area where that the Sari use to train their children in all matters of sailing and boatcraft. It's kind of an outpost where they bring their kids to learn. It's like a school, a sailing school for the Sari. And you do seem to be heading in that direction.
Could he'll go up to the guy
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "Where are we going?" And like shrug.
Yeah, the shrug. The guy would point further off to the north west, though there's nothing on the horizon of note for you right now, and speak in Sari. And again, you don't really know. He doesn't seem to know any common beyond the word Sari. So actually, he probably would say that in his gesturing. You'd pick out the word Sari. He's pointing.
And he'll point at all of them
Mm-hmm.
and he'll shrug. Like point he point us, and then he'll shrug.
You have to do that again. Your internet pooped itself a bit.
So he'll point to the seat where he was pointing.
Yep.
He'll point at our group.
Yeah.
He'll shrug.
Okay. The Sari would take a moment. He'd turn his spear so the point was down and slam it into the ground so it's stuck in place. So he has both hands free. Would only to all of you. Point off north and point himself, like pointing to his chest, and like hold out his hands as if they were manacled previously, and like gesture to the fact that he's no longer wearing manacles. And then he'd do like a hat, a palms down, kind of safe gesture. This whole time he's talking, he's not committed to the sign language, and then you'd pick up on some words of like safety,
Yeah.
home.
Can he sense motive?
Yeah, of course. Perception modifier, please. +5. You get the sense that this guy is being honest. He doesn't seem like a hugely complex guy from your interactions with him so far. He seems like a young buck, a warrior, and you get the sense that he's on the level. He's trying to take you somewhere that's he knows to be, he considers a safe place in his home.
While he is reluctant, he doesn't really know where else they're going to go, so he's going to go with it.
Okay. And everyone else?
I feel like floor is just and the can't remember what Pushkin said we had to do.
Don't even getting quite a lot of lag on different people.
Opus request. Yeah, I think everyone's getting quite laggy, so maybe we should
Join a
switch
different
to D&DP.
Yeah.
It wouldn't let me switch for a second. Is that better?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, Pushkin had been quite open because he didn't have a clear answer. He was saying, we need something here, whether that's something that's going to help us overthrow the Sari, whether that's something that's going to convince the Sari to leave us alone, or something we can do in secret, or a magical power, a new ally, anything really. And he just had leads for you. The Ruined Tower being the main one he sent you on right now. But he wasn't like, you need to go to the tower, that's our one hope. It was basically like, there might be something there, or maybe you could find other people, travel far and find other allies that we might get help from.
Not sure if we're gonna get allies from the Sari though.
Yeah, you guys are fully aware that the Sari outpost is very much just a place that people from the main Sari area come from to teach their children. Keep like their children live there whilst they're learning to sail. And also that the Sari who look over after you are from that camp. It's all the same community.
They might have a boat, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you'd assume there's loads of boats there.
But what do we want a boat for? Yeah, do we? We don't know.
Well, we could. It could help us get around if we wanted to go like over here or something.
Yeah, you know there are other islands nearby as well.
We don't have a goal on those islands yet, though, do we?
Nothing clear,
Mm.
but you could try. You know, for example, Lorca, or at least you've had multiple conversations with your adoptive mother about your biological mother potentially sailing away or setting up on a different island.
What a bish.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Just concerned we're going away from all the everything on the map so far.
Completely
Go to
fair, yeah.
a really big Sari camp that we're not going to
Yeah.
be able to kill everyone and we'll just die.
Yeah, I mean, to be clear, when the guy walked away, he wasn't like gesturing for you to follow him. You all just followed him into the fucking tree line, which he seems to have embraced and is pointing where he's taking you and so on. He seems grateful.
I'm sure that he'll put in a good word for us, but
Yeah, it
at
could
the end
be
of the
like,
day,
these guys saved me. That's great. Let's take them back to their shithole where they're meant to be.
Yeah,
Completely.
that's a good point, actually.
That'd be so fucking great. Just drops you there and Pushkin's like, got picked up by the popo.
I don't know.
Mm.
I just don't know.
It's up to you guys. I think you're all quite used to everything I've delivered before as a DM as well. Has been quite driven. This and Lumen will feel quite driven as well. I think, although it has some open stuff, but this is very open. you guys can do whatever you like. So don't feel worried about not following a story or doing the wrong thing or what have you. You can 100% just think, what would my character want to do? And if you're really struggling with that, feel free to fucking roll for it.
Alright, I'm gonna roll to see if Lawport eats this guy right here, right now.
Amazing.
Alright.
Call it first.
Um,
I love the idea of Lorcore feeling confusion and just being like, I know how to deal with confusion.
yep. Let's roll a. Should we roll a will save? Let's do that. Let's just do it half and half.
Cool.
Under 10, he eats him.
Got it.
Oh, there you go. No,
Wow.
alive.
Supreme. A moment of zen clarity for Lorcore.
Opens his jaw, goes above him. Ah, I shouldn't do it.
Snapshot.
I think Sin is just currently following. She's got no particular goal right now, so she's kind of, curious and was she's kind of following this.
Yeah.
Sari and is curious where it leads, and but she would be. She's not particularly set on one thing or the other. She just thought he said it was dangerous, and she saw these bumbling idiots really get themselves killed. So, she's just sort of trying to give them a little bit of wisdom here and there, but she's not directing them.
Completely fair. And I'd fully encourage people to feel comfortable just going with the flow. That's what they want to do. Follow this guy, not follow this guy. And yeah, rolling for it's absolutely fine.
I think he's changed his mind. He wants to go back to a tunnel.
Yeah, cool.
He
Yeah,
will,
turning around.
before he goes though, Tiberius will be like, "Well, thank you. If you ever need to be gentle on us," and he gives him 3 growing seeds, and he points to the way they came. We'll be going back.
The guy would take the seeds. Oh man, roll a diplomacy check for me, Tiberius. So, I may change what kind of check this is, but that's a good roll. Whatever happens. As you put the seeds in his hand and point back, the guy, Ren, holds your eye contact firmly and points back the way you're pointing with his spear. Kind of sets his jaw and just says the danger word again, but says it with a question mark at the end. It's like he's asking like, danger?
What, in the way we just came?
Yeah, like pointing back to where you've come from, yeah. He's like asking. He's finding it, obviously it's difficult to express with a language barrier, but he's basically saying like, you're gonna face danger, like, are you willing to face that?
Yeah, he nods.
Then he'd clench his fists around the seeds and he'd kind of nod as well. And he'd turn back with you.
Oh, yeah. Sweet.
Yeah, he'd pocket the seeds in his little sari pouch on his belt. And he would, I think, as you're starting to see him come out of his shell a little bit, he'd kind of pat you on the back, Tiberius, as he goes to like walk past you back the way you've come.
Tiberius is very confused. He's strange, but he's concerned this man's being so nice because he's a Sari, but he's also immensely proud that this muscular man has just given him a compliment.
Yeah, he pats you on the back and he kind of shakes his head and laughs in like a like danger it is then kind of way. and like starts walking back into the jungle.
Cool.
Okay. All right.
No eating, Lorco.
He's got a garnish now, Lorca. He comes with 3
Oh.
seeds.
Oh, he does. One big mouthful.
But yes, with his guidance, you are not in any danger, and still with a little bit of time left in the day, though it certainly feels like quite a few hours wasted, you find yourselves back at the mouth of the tunnel. There are no new clear tracks or anything like that. Are you same plan as before, heading in?
Yes.
Okay. So, as you step down into the tunnels, the first thing you notice, Lorcor, you're holding up your torch that you were saying about before, is the amount of moisture in here. It seems to drip from the ceiling, and there are large stalactites that hang from above. The headroom is minimal as you head through, and it feels like this isn't a cave system. This isn't a series of like small passages and then big openings. This feels like a carved tunnel, but it has been left to time, and many of the previous sort of harder edges have softened or been worn down. As you're going along, Sin, you don't note any magic after your first sort of 20 minutes to half an hour of going in. You all notice that Slug is doing a very good job of keeping himself in Lorcor's shadow, and is barely noticed even by you guys. But all of you spot, and it's notable as well because the Ka Ren, your Sari companion, doesn't seem to be bothered or interested in it at all. But you all notice in Lorcor's torchlight that about half an hour in, and the tunnels sloped down at the beginning, but then kind of flattened out. You don't think you're too far beneath the ground. But you all notice worked stone. Stone that is a different shade and texture to the tunnels around you. The tunnels you're in are a mixture of kind of a dark tan, like kind of wet sandstone tunnels that are worn down. Whereas you see elements of like a light grey, clearly worked stone. They look like they have markings on them. Pictograms very different to the Sari, whereas the Sari work is quite simplistic and runic, harsh lines and sort of right angles and basic angles. This worked stone has beautiful, elegant curves, and it's not quite a mural. There's no paint or color, but there's incredible pictures, carvings, sculpted stone, just sticking out of some of the sandstone walls of the tunnels as you make your way through. It's really notable as you're going along.
Lorca like breaks bits off as he goes along.
Well, interestingly, the sandstone crumbles quite easily. But this grey stone, Lorcor, even like properly flexing and leaning into it, it doesn't break at all. It doesn't even carve, despite it's like it has been carved and sculpted and worked, but your claws don't even dent it.
If she saw him
Oh,
trying to
that's
break
frustrating.
bits of the sandstone off that's being like carved by man, Sin would slap him away, his wrist.
He'd give you a growl, Sin.
She would stare up at him and just say, "It is not wise to return that which has been forged from nature to its origins."
Don't know what you're talking about.
Just
I just want to break it. Literally didn't understand a word you said, Sin, so he's just going to continue breaking stuff.
stop breaking the sandstone, beast.
He looks over to you, Sin. You are not above being eaten, girl.
She just chuckles. And she's just staring him down completely.
Yeah, he's just staring down at you. Teeth
Yeah.
bared. And he grins and tries to break a bit as you're watching him.
The grey stone won't break at all. The sandstone, the basic sandstone of the tunnels,
breaks the
crumbles.
sandstone.
Yeah, that crumbles quite easily, and you can see it has been worn down and crumbled in many places. But this grey stone, this worked. It's almost like you can see like the edge of a pillar sticking out of the sandstone at some point, or like grey stone buttresses above that look like they used to frame a larger room or tunnel. It looks ancient.
Mm.
But yeah.
Having a staring contest over here.
Eventually, you'd hear the sound of Sari language being called back towards the two of you in a questioning tone.
Yeah, she's just staring him down. She's not breaking. I think.
Come on, let's get going.
Lucky them for now, girl. And he walks away.
Yeah, she continues following.
Excellent.
Yeah,
So-
Tiberius did look at Slug and be like, "You're the most mature one here, Slug."
There?
Yes, exactly.
Excellent. A full hour has now passed with you making your way underground. You've not bumped into anything at all. Occasionally, your Sari guide essentially now is pausing and listening before beckoning you onwards. The torch that you hold burns down, Lorcor, and you need to light another to continue about your way.
Yeah.
But you continue going. Eventually, though, about halfway through the second hour, it feels like you've been walking for a long time. The grey stone architecture has become more and more prominent, and the sandstone kind of natural tunnel has receded. And this comes to a head as you reach a very large open chamber, and it's quite immediately. Each of you feels like a twinge of anxiety as you've had sort of the stone tunnel around you for so long to have it immediately open up. And your torchlight only illuminates so far, Lorcor, as the ceiling above recedes completely into darkness above. And you can see, and there's a little bit of a low whistle from your Sari companion, like a whistle of appreciation. And awe as the rest of you are treated to the sight of this grey stone. You're now walking on a grey flagstone tiled floor that ends abruptly as if just deleted from existence about 20 or 30 feet into this chamber. Grey stone pillars line the walls, but again just stop abruptly at a certain point. And you can see on the other side, illuminated by a low, glowing blue light, which seems to come from distant blue torches. More grey stone, more grey flagstone. To try and paint the picture in your mind, it's as if someone has taken about 100-foot square stone chamber, though the ceiling seems perhaps higher than 100 feet. You can't see it, it proceeds into darkness. But they've taken this chamber and they've split it in half and just moved it. And there's about a 50-foot chasm in the middle that just falls away into nothingness. It's as if someone has cut the chamber in half with a knife and just moved the two sides about 50 feet away from each other. It doesn't look like a natural break. It's a perfectly straight line that ends in front of you, about 30 feet in, and then the straight line on the other side over this chasm. Your Sari guide kind of... The whistle ends, gestures with his spear towards the chasm, and you can see where he's pointing off to the side. There is, in complete defiance of this rigid, elegantly carved stone architecture, there is a primitive, thin, spindly rope bridge which spans the 50-foot chasm from your side to the other.
Don't like chasms.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It does boggle the mind to look at. It's like a god, a being has reached down and just pushed these two sides apart.
Cool.
There's one thing he would do before we end for today.
Please.
He'd point at like the really nice stone murals.
Yeah.
And he'd point at our guide.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'd be like, kind of like, did you do that kind of thing?
The guide would understand, and with a smile, and then a smile of like almost like flattering that you're asking him. He'd shake his head, and then go into like a thoughtful frown, point at the murals, and say, speaking in Sari, but Sin, I think you'd pick up an idea of the words like in the past, ancestors,
Okay.
kind of thing.
She'd communicate that if Tiberius wasn't getting the idea.
Yeah.
But so I assume you'd be surprised that this looks like civilization.
Yeah, it's very weird to look at. Your Sari guy doesn't seem that surprised in himself. He'd make a point of emphasizing. He'd say Sari, pointing at it, say Sari, and like shake his head, and just repeat these kind of words of like before, past, ancestors, forebears, whatever you like.
Oh, there must be something here. If this is still intact, maybe we can find something.
Does anyone respond to Tiberius?
Tin would be just like looking at this sorry man and just thinking to herself, oh, how far you've fallen.
Yeah.
But she doesn't reply to Tiberius.
Yeah.
But she's still like in following mode.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and in the blue glow illuminating the other side, you certainly think there might be more ahead as your travels have progressed from that natural brown sandstone to this worked grey, elegantly carved stone. But we will leave it there for today. You stand next to this chasm, wonder what lies ahead.
Indeed.